A zombie apocalypse in the DC universe, while bad, should be easily survivable, right? I mean, they do have superheroes after all. Wait, even the heroes start getting affected and causing havoc? Okay, well, they also have Superman, one of the strongest heroes in DC. Surely he could help save the day, right? Oh, yeah, Earth is doomed. So after a techno-organic virus started to descend upon the Earth, from Darkseid being Darkseid and messing around with the anti-life equation, the world started to fall pretty quickly, with many civilians and heroes dying in the midst of it, like Green Lantern, Batman, Nightwing, the Robins, etc. But there was a group of heroes who managed to survive and even start to rebuild, and come up with plans to either evacuate the Earth or try and fight this infection. But while they were all grouped together at the Fortress of Solitude, planning on what to do, Martian Manhunter snuck in, and with his abilities, intangibility, invisibility, he got in pretty easily undetected. And Martian Manhunter was infected, meaning he was able to sneak up on the Flash and even infect him through the chaos of it all, turning the world's fastest man into the world's fastest threat. And after killing and dealing with Martian Manhunter, that only leaves the problem of Flash, in which there are only really two heroes who can even deal with that kind of speed, which are Kid Flash and Superman. And while Kid Flash is the first one who wants to go save Barry, Superman stops him, saying if both of you returned, two speedsters would be insanely difficult. So Superman himself decides to go instead, and he comes with a plan. Instead of trying to catch up behind Flash, he flies up into space to catch him head on from the other side. And by head on, I mean literally head on. Seeing as his only option, he flies straight through Flash. While yes, solving the problem and taking out Barry, unfortunately, it creates a whole new problem, as some of Barry's fingers and fragments pierces inside Superman, transferring the virus to him, going from one catastrophe to another one. And after heading back to the Fortress of Solitude to break the bad news and say his goodbyes, as to their knowledge, once infected, there is no cure or way to come back from it. So Superman decides his best to leave the planet, fly as far away as possible, so at least if he turns, no one can get hurt because of it. But unfortunately, the time it took for him to go back and say goodbye, even at super speed, cost him valuable time he could have used to escape. So Superman, the Man of Steel, finally winds up succumbing to it. And now, having all the normal capabilities of Superman, but unfortunately undead and bloodlusted, rockets back to Earth to cause as much havoc and death as possible. As you see him head to New York specifically, coming in at incredible speeds, as the civilians there look up with hope, thinking, is that a hero? Is that Superman? But it's unfortunate for them as Superman slams down into a building, with the story even saying all hope was lost that day. Moving back over to the Fortress of Solitude, we see what the other heroes are up to, with Cyborg saying, if Superman has really turned, then that's it, it's over. The Arks are ready, we need to leave Earth now. With the Arks being ships they've built to leave Earth and find a new habitable planet. But with Lois rightly bringing up, saying Superman could take them down in a heartbeat. And Diana chimes in saying, we need to take him on. And with Batman, who is now Damian, taking up the role of his father after perishing from the virus, pulls out what looks to be some kind of containment stick with the Man of Steel logo on it. Continuing to say, Batman left a takedown plan for every major hero, as he then pulls out a piece of kryptonite. But the plans Batman left would turn the kryptonite into some suppressing gas, which would only slow Superman down, not kill him, which in this situation is either life or death. And with Diana rightly bringing up again, saying, that's not enough. Bruce was a lot of things, but he was never lethal. But we can't hold back now. And with Green Lantern, who is now Black Canary, saying, you have a better solution? Diana says, of course. You think Batman's the only one with enough sense to plot against his friends? Which does make sense and brings an interesting thought, as she is a warrior princess who's lived for hundreds if not thousands of years, depending on the continuity, and being trained in all forms of combat from a very young age, learned and planned against every major power, hero or not. And we then see them moving over to the Forge in the Fortress of Solitude, with Black Canary saying, are you sure this will work? And Wonder Woman saying, Clark is vulnerable to kryptonite and to magic. Years ago, my mother and I hypothesized we could join the two, which also brings up another interesting idea, how with as much magic, advanced alien technology, and overall comic book logic, no one to my knowledge has majorly tried to combine the two, magic and kryptonite. But of course, what does she do with it? She creates a sword, imbuing the sword of Athena with kryptonite, creating a weapon that could very well be the end for the new zombified Man of Steel. Moving over, we then see the heroes start to recruit and load up people onto the Arks, ranging all the way from Gotham City to Themyscira. And while those heroes have their job another team of heroes have a job of their own to take on the Superman. As we see, half a world away, Superman just absolutely wrecking havoc, causing destruction and death everywhere he goes. And as they arrive, the Green Lantern says, Cyborg, is anyone alive down there? But Cyborg scans and says no life signs at all. Okay then, I don't have to hold back. As she creates a giant megaphone with her Green Lantern abilities, then she uses her Canary Scream, making it 10 times as powerful, dropping Superman to his knees. Which, how can they even still feel pain if they're not alive? But anyways, it is only a distraction as Superman then gets up and rushes towards her, and almost breaking her construct in one hit. Cyborg shoots him from behind, distracting him, long enough for Diana to come with their special weapon, as she blindsides him, cleanly cutting off his arm in one full swing, before impaling him through the chest with another. With the comic going on to say, our defenders did so much to protect us. They risked everything, but they were up against so much power without hesitation. As in the next panel, we see Superman, who is now armless and impaled, gut Wonder Woman with his fist straight through her abdomen, almost immediately killing her on the spot, before we see Superman rocket off into the sky, leaving the battlefield. They bought us time, but that's all they could do. And as their best warrior falls, she then explains to the two heroes, Superman, he's gone. He's seen the arcs, and you have to stop him. And as she hands Black Canary the sword, which in my opinion, there is really no point in making the sword kryptonite and magic, as a normal magically enhanced sword could still cut Superman under most situations, and adding the kryptonite to it did nothing thematically or in the story at all. But with Cyborg telling her, it's okay, you go, I'll stay with her. The virus started with me, I was never coming with you. Go. As he stays on the doomed Earth, sending Black Canary with the arcs, who've now made it into space. And on the ship, we see the super sons of the world's finest duo, Superboy Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne, who is now Batman. And as they are talking, Superboy then uses his X-ray vision and sees his father rocketing towards the ship, knowing what he has to do, as there is no one else powerful enough to even stand up to him on board. And if he gets to the ship, everyone goes down. And before he is able to go, he is stopped by Lois, but with him saying, it's okay mom, I know what I have to do, before revealing the House of L shield on his chest and rocketing off. And even though he knows he can't take Superman, he can at least delay the inevitable, as he was the only thing standing between the last survivors of Earth and extinction. And as he rockets, Superman also rockets, and they come head to head, crashing into each other. And in the aftermath of their collision, the comic then goes on to say, he was a child trying to hold back death, but he couldn't stop that. But he did buy us one precious minute, as we see Green Lantern Black Canary fly up with the sword, ready to defend with her life. And in that minute, the cavalry arrived, as you see the entire Green Lantern Corps roll up to Earth, as this anti-life techno-virus is not only a threat to Earth and its population, but the entire universe if it is able to spread. And in that moment, Superman, or the anti-life equation which took him over, made a choice. Knowing it cannot beat these dozens of lanterns, especially in the state he's in now, he rockets off. And before any one of the Guardians or the Lanterns can catch him, he dives headfirst into the sun, which you already know how that can go. With the comic explaining, it couldn't stand against the entire corpse, so it calculated another way to kill. It starts feeding, absorbing, draining the sun, which by the way, this is a super cool panel. But as the rest of the Lanterns and heroes can do nothing but watch, the Guardian explains, in time, this entire solar system will grow cold and die, but gifting Superman unfathomable power. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps me put out more of these videos. Anyways, thanks again. Virus is not only a threat to Earth and its population, but the entire universe if it is able to spread. And in that moment, Superman, or the anti-life equation which took him over, made a choice. Knowing it cannot beat these dozens of lanterns, especially in the state he's in now, he rockets off. And before any one of the Guardians or the Lanterns can catch him, he dives headfirst into the sun, which you already know how that can go. With the comic explaining, it couldn't stand against the entire corpse, so it calculated another way to kill. It starts feeding, absorbing, draining the sun, which by the way, this is a super cool panel. But as the rest of the Lanterns and heroes can do nothing but watch, the Guardian explains, in time, this entire solar system will grow cold and die, but gifting Superman unfathomable power. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps me put out more of these videos. Anyways, thanks again.